especially people who are on insulin, okay, 20 points in both their diastolic and systolic. It's the switch of the fuel source. So generally, when we eat foods that are
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I am naturopathic Dr. Fiona Chin, co-founder of Kidney Coach and Ketosis, and I'm joined again today by the amazing, wonderful, fabulous, fantastic Kelly Som. I think if we could start with why ketogenic diets are so great for diabetes, and then let's talk about, I think most people understand the plant-based part in kidney disease, but if you can dive into the ketogenic side in diabetes, and then let's talk about how we get it plant-based ketogenic successfully.
Yeah, absolutely. So with ketogenic, the basic thing is it's the switch of the fuel source. So generally, when we eat foods that are heavy carbohydrates, so potatoes, candy, bread, rice, those kinds of things, those break down into glucose, sugar, and that is a fuel source that our body uses for energy. With ketogenic, we're going to take that high fat or that high carb diet, and we're going to take that down to very little carbs. So instead of using the carbohydrates or the glucose for energy, we're actually going to do a high fat, low carb diet, which is going to cause our body to make ketones. And ketones then becomes the main fuel source. And ketones are really the magic. There are actually different kinds of ketones, but the special ketone is the BHB. And so the BHB, what it does in PKD, like what we work with, it helps to cut off the sugar source for the cysts that are growing. So that's the key there. But in diabetes, the root there is the inflammation. And so the BHB actually helps to reduce the inflammation. And once that inflammation comes down and we don't need all that sugar, our need for insulin and diabetes medicines starts to reduce. We start to lose weight, which means we're losing visceral or belly fat. And that's really what causes that flaming fire, that metabolic system, right? Because metabolic disease is a host of poor health markers that put us at risk for diabetes and heart disease and kidneys too. It all comes down to the heart, guys. That's really what this is about. And so when you are a lady and you have a waist larger than 35, or men a waist larger than 40, when you have high blood pressure, when you have high cholesterol, if your good cholesterol is low and your bad cholesterol is high, those are all, and your blood sugars are high, those are all markers or metabolic syndrome. Okay. And so keto does a beautiful job of reducing it.
So are there any other definite do's and don'ts when it comes to this?
So again, especially people who are on insulin, okay, I would, or if you're type 1, I would definitely check with your doctor first. You definitely want them to know what you're doing, and they need to partner with you to safely come off your medicines. You're also going to need to monitor your blood pressure, because your blood pressure is going to, that was the other benefit I forgot to mention. A lot of times I've seen people come down 20 points in both their diastolic and systolic. So that's been pretty fun to watch as well. And you just asked me something, I completely blanked out.
No, they were the big things, just the do's and the definite do's.
Yeah. So again, if you have diabetes, the other thing and why that blood ketone monitor is so important is you don't want to have ketones over 3. You don't want to end up in metabolic acidosis. That can be dangerous for people with diabetes. And so again, somebody with type 1 is going to be much more at risk than somebody with type 2. But we definitely want to keep an eye, and you need to know safely where those ketones need to be and what do we do if they are running high. And, just like we would with hypoglycemia, right? It can be safely managed, or it can get out of control. So you really need to know what you're doing. And I would say the other thing is the frustration point, because it's really hard to go from an almost all carb diet, which is so American with, crappy processed fat, to this high fat, healthy, cardiovascular, healthy fats that are going to mostly make up your diet. How do you find meals? How do you put them together and get the macros right so that your ketones go in the right zone? That is the hardest thing. And it takes probably most of my clients a good 3 to 4 weeks to really get the light bulb to go off, to be like, I get it. I get this meal planning. So having somebody to assist you with those meals and making sure that there's no holes in your micronutrients, that's going to be really important. And like I said, in a standard keto diet, you're going to be missing a lot of fiber. And so constipation can be another big problem, which with kidney disease, we know is a problem because it can raise your potassium if all of that's locked in there.
Kelly, you're amazing as always. Again, if you want to work with Kelly individually, this is what she does. She's an absolute expert when it comes to all things diabetes and kidney disease. So you can head across to kidneynutritionalinstitute.org. I'll put the link in below and all the details are there. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out more content. And thank you. Thanks for being part of our community. We'll see you next time. Bye.